Back on the Sports Zone, I am Mike Aglialoro. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Don't forget to subscribe under the video if you haven't done so. And also don't forget to check out the website thisissportszone.com for more. So we're back with week 2 of the Start 'em Up segment. We went 6-3 last week. We had a pretty good week, and we're just going to hope we can keep it going this week. We are coming a little late this week. This is probably going to be released a little after the start time of the Ravens-Steelers game on Thursday night. So I'm hoping this won't affect everyone too much. Hopefully you were able to see the article earlier in the day on This is Sports Zone. Like I said, this is going to be mostly covering the Sunday games. So to start off, we'll start with the quarterbacks you should start this week. And I am a fan of Robert Griffin III. Going against the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Had a terrible week in Game 1 against the Houston Texans. But against the Jaguars defense that did give up over 300 passing yards and 2 touchdowns to Nick Foles this week. And that was mostly in the second half after the Jaguars, of course, jumped out to a big lead. I have a feeling Griffin's going to wind up putting better numbers than a lot of people think he will. He's already being written off by a lot of the Yahoo experts and a lot of the other fantasy experts out there, but I wouldn't give up on RG3 just yet, and I feel like this week he's going to show why. I'm looking for at least 250 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and he might give you some rushing yards this week, and at only $7,800 on FanDuel.com, there's value there. Jump on that. Next, we're going to move to the pick on the Cowboys defense portion of Start 'em Up, which we're basically going to have every week this season until Dallas's defense gives me reason not to do it. And this week, the Dallas Cowboys take on the Tennessee Titans. So you're starting Jake Locker at quarterback at $7,400, and you're starting both his receivers, Kendall Wright at $6,100 and Justin Hunter at $5,700. Fairly simple. You look at what the 49ers were able to do against the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Crabtree didn't have a great game, but Anquan Bolden was involved. Vernon Davis was involved. Colin Kaepernick had over 2 passing scores last week. So you look at what Locker was able to do against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you expect him to do more than that this week against the Cowboys. So you're starting all your Tennessee Titans players this week, and I'd even start Delaney Walker at tight end if I had him. Moving on to the running backs, we're looking at 2 guys priced at $6,800 on FanDuel.com. We're going with Jacques Bell of the Detroit Lions against the Carolina Panthers, and Shane Vereen of the New England Patriots against the Minnesota Vikings. Real simple. It's pretty obvious there's a timeshare going on in Detroit, but Jacques Bell actually took the lion's share of the rushing yards last week with 15 rushes for 51 yards and a touchdown, grossly outproducing Reggie Bush with the carries, who had only 9 carries for 15 yards. Bush was the running back more used in the passing game, which was surprising. But this week against the Panthers, with Bush having the probable tag after being on the injury report with missing practice on Wednesday with a knee injury, I got to be honest, at $6,800, you want to go with the cheaper of the 2. Bell's the value play. Go with him. Ditto with Shane Vereen, who had 71 total yards last week with a touchdown in a bad Patriots game all the way around. I look for him to have much better stats this week. You look, Benny Cunningham did have over 70 rushing yards last week against the Vikings, and I look for Vereen, who will have a solid all-around game with at least 1 touchdown. And like I said, both of them priced at $6,800. Jump on that. The other wide receiver you want, in addition to Kendall Wright and Justin Hunter, is DeSean Jackson of the Washington team going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Same thing with RG3. Everybody on Washington got off to a rough start last week, but the Jaguars defense is going to give up yards. They are going to give up touchdowns. And I look for DeSean Jackson to do what Jeremy Maclin did last week. At least 4 passes, 97 yards, and a long touchdown. So go with DeSean Jackson, priced at only $6,400. At tight end, moving to the Philadelphia Eagles, you want to go with Zach Ertz every week until FanDuel starts pricing him like a top 10 tight end, because he's only priced at $5,600 coming off a week. 3 pass catches for 77 yards and a touchdown, and now he's going up against the defense in the Colts that gave up over 100 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to Julius Thomas last week. You take Zach Ertz, who is now an every week fantasy starter, and if you're on FanDuel, you take the gift you are given by the FanDuel price makers. $5,600 is a steal for a guy who could have one of the top 3 tight end producing scores of week 2. So you go with him. And my special performance for this week, you go with Isaiah Crowell of the Cleveland Browns, who's taking on the New Orleans Saints this week. With Ben Tate expected to miss the next 2 to 4 weeks, Crowell is the goal line running back. He will lose the majority of touches to Terrence West. But like you saw last week, Crowell only had 5 carries, 32 yards, 2 touchdowns with that. You take him against the Saints defense that didn't look particularly strong against the run last week. Not one Falcons rusher had an outstanding line, but they did give up a goal line score to Jacquez Rodgers in the running game. So I look for Crowell to pass that. So to recap, the quarterbacks you want to start are RG3 and Jake Locker. The running backs you start are Jacquay Bell and Shane Vereen. Wide receivers you start, pick on the Cowboys with Kendall Hunter and Justin Wright of the Tennessee Titans. Then you go with Deshaun Jackson of Washington. Tight end, you go with Zach Ertz. And the special performance this week for Isaiah Crowell. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Check out SportsZone.com. We got some coverage of the Ray Rice debacle from the NFL. We look at Penn State being reinstated to postseason eligibility. We got more from Jake Dixon, who looks at the dangerous upward trend of brain trauma in the NFL. And he also gives you the rookie rundown from week 1. Thanks to everyone for watching. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at WeAreSportsZone. Send us any questions and comments you may have. Make sure you check out Sit 'em Down, which will be coming out Friday. Once again, thanks for watching, folks. For This is SportsZone, I'm Mike Aglialoro. We will see you next time, guys.